this is Shira, and this is the full moon in Pisces for September 20th, 2021. So let's take a look here. We've got the sun at 28 degrees of Virgo, and we have the moon, of course, in opposition because of the full moon in Pisces. And we have Neptune barely making a conjunction within 7 degrees to the moon. Now, every year when we come across the full moons and the new moons, there is always a point of which the full moon and new moon represent. And in this case, it represents Virgo and Pisces. And Virgo and Pisces are healers. They have this in common. Virgo is connected with the more natural forms of healing and the esoteric, and Pisces is connected with the higher realms, the spiritual, universal. Now, this year we have the moon connected again with Neptune. Neptune is mystical. It is mysterious. However, because of the full moon, Neptune with the moon and in opposition with Virgo, the natural healer, there may be information that comes about now that was previously hidden regarding forms of healing, healthcare, and this can also mean information that comes about now regarding the earth. That can mean that there's information that comes about that previously was unknown regarding a harming of the natural, the earth, the environment. And now we receive some kind of disclosure or information that comes about in order to what? To heal the earth, to heal the environment. And once more, this is also connected with health, health care. On the other end of the spectrum, this be connected with insurance or anything that deals with health, well-being, natural care, the earth, and the environment. It is a full moon. And generally on full moons, information comes about that was not known. And depending on what the full moon is, generally points to that becomes known or no longer in the shadows. And in this case, we have the moon with Neptune. Neptune, somewhat like the moon, also rules confusion or deception. So there may be discussions, and keep in mind this also deals with us personally, and depending on where the full moon is in your personal birth chart, there is information that comes about that seems to confuse us, or we may feel that there's information that is deceptive, or there is information that is confusing, somewhat like we have to sort out what's right from what's wrong, what we're being told, and what is the right or correct answers. And this requires what? What does Virgo rule? Research. So, depending where this full moon is in your birth chart, you may feel like there's some kind of deception or confusion in the area of life where this axis is. And so, whatever house, you will have to do more digging and more investigation. However, publicly, this will also become prominent, and it will occur in the aforementioned interests: earth, environment, research of all kinds, nutrition, health, and well-being. However, once this information is disclosed, we feel like what? We are healed, or we can feel more complete and balanced. And this time will occur anywhere to just before or just after the full moon and before the following new moon. So, moving along, we have Uranus in Taurus, and we have Pluto, still as of yet, in Capricorn and retrograde, as is Uranus. And we have the 28 degree of the Sun in Virgo. Now, Virgo's Sun will not connect by aspect Uranus retrograde in Taurus, but it does lend for good earth sensible thought. However, the Sun makes a wonderful trine to Pluto. As always, what does Pluto represent? Pluto rules power. Pluto, in this case, in Capricorn, rules structure. And with Capricorn Pluto, it rules government, or those that are in authority. With the trine to the Sun and very good, let's just say, energy from Uranus in Taurus, we may find there is some good news connected with the powers that be, authorities, government, and somehow there may be knowledge of some help to people regarding government power. We will be able to, on a more personal example, to express our energy sensibly, because we are talking earth here. This is the month we will feel very grounded emotionally, even though it is a full moon in the very watery sign of Pisces, because the full moon in Pisces makes a trine within a sextile within 4 degrees to Pluto. So our energy and our ambitions, our focus will be well expressed this month. We will be very focused on our goals and aspirations and taking action in a more practical sense. We will feel very grounded. Now, that's more personally. And it's a good time if you are looking to do some background work or research because of this full moon in Pisces. However, there is a retrograde Mercury at this time. And Mercury is retrograde in the sign of Libra on the 28th. And so we will be in what is called the shadow of the retrograde on September 20th. So, although I would not advise to launch a business or important project this time, one thing that is great with retrograde planets, and especially Mercury, because it rules Gemini, rules Virgo, is research. This is a time when maybe it's not the best to take action with all important endeavors, but I would advise to do some background work, retrograde Mercury, because then once Mercury goes direct and is post shadow after that, that's the time you want to move ahead with action. So do your research on any important projects or business ideas at this time. You will find a wealth of knowledge, and especially in the sign of Libra, especially if you are in the creative arts or performing arts, anything that is representative of beauty, creativity, great time to do research in those areas and move forward in this case around the end of October. So we also have Venus still in Scorpio at 11 degrees, and that makes a square to Saturn, and Saturn is, as of yet, still retrograde. So we must be careful of frustrations, wanting to get projects off the ground, and especially with Saturn retrograde. And Venus is in Scorpio, and Venus in Scorpio is very intense. Saturn is in Aquarius retrograde. So just be very cautious, apply a lot of patience right now according to the houses that this square are in your personal birth chart. And publicly, we may see certain disagreements, or there may be frustrations connected with our ideals, our objective, and our need to be very close to each other, and intensity. This creates certain disagreements and conflicts at this time, especially since there is a wide 7 degrees square to Saturn in Aquarius. And to top that off, including Venus in Scorpio. So with this particular T-square we must be careful for unnecessary conflicts dealing with what we believe is right, our viewpoints, our spirituality, our philosophy. If we can remain objective and grounded as the sensible yet very feeling and emotional full moon implies, and channel any frustrations to warmth and practicality, we will gain much from this full moon. But also, Saturn rules technology, the internet, the airwaves, radio waves, and so on. And with the T-square to both Uranus and Venus, there may be a concern as such. Technology, social media, the internet, and anything that rules the airways. And that can also mean issues with travel. So if you find that you are traveling at this full moon, just be cautious, be patient, and this too shall pass, because it will be a bit of an irritating influence regarding any kind of travel whatsoever, but especially air travel. Now, Jupiter is still in Aquarius and retrograde as well. However, we will find a bonus with regards to invention and technology as long as Jupiter remains in Aquarius, and will switch to Pisces at the close of this year. So although there are frustrations with travel, technology, airways, the internet, and so forth, with Jupiter in Aquarius, we can also find some kind of benefit with inventions and that which rules the internet, and just being original. One thing about Aquarius, it's a very original sun sign, and this is a great time with Saturn and Jupiter there to express our individuality and to possibly even invent something, because you may find at this time that your invention may get some kind of notice as your original style and creativity. So we do have, as aforementioned, Mercury in Libra, and that makes a beautiful exact trine to retrograde Jupiter, so that only accentuates our desire and our need to beautify our surroundings, to express our sense of beauty, fashion, even oddness or weirdness, or anything where we express ourselves in a highly creative manner. And especially right now with Neptune conjoining the moon, that is a wonderful time for, especially with Mercury in Libra, to beautify ourselves, our surroundings, our creativity. But keep in mind, Mercury is in its pre-shadow phase. So this is a time to do the background work on all of that deals with the original and beauty, especially in its highest, connected with this Piscean influence with Mercury in Libra and both Saturn and Jupiter in Aquarius. However, if we can keep ourselves grounded with the Earth influence and express ourselves to the best of our ability, remain grounded, and do a little research, then my advice this month with the full moon will be great, and you will find you are actually, with all the retrograde motions, progressing forward with your career. If you'd like to get in touch with me, my contact information is down below. I give one-on-one readings and written reports. Please subscribe to this channel and press the bell notification. Until next time, many, many blessings.